Hi everyone, I'm Josh with Print2 Design Studio, and today we are going to be doing a roof rack install on a 2013 Subaru Outback. Alright, so on this vehicle I've already had to install the plus nuts. It's pretty typical for every one of our roof racks, so you can check out any of our other videos if you need see more hands-on how it's done, but I've got a little example here for you. So right here I've got a plus nut which will be installed in the roof. If you can just imagine this being the roof right here in the holes, what you're going to do, stick the plus nut down in the hole. Right here we've got our hex coupler nut, so just going to tighten that down on the plus nut. Then you're going to use 2 wrenches to compress the plus nut, and when you're done, this is what it's going to look like right back here. So as you can see, our plus nut's compressed and it's gripping onto our roof right here. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do is set a few mats down here on the roof. This is just going to protect the paint while we're doing the install. After I've got these mats set down, I'm going to go grab some crossbars and start laying them out. Alright, so now I'm going to place the crossbars down here on the roof. One thing to keep in mind when you're doing this, if you notice our drop points here, they are offset, so if you're picky, you can just make sure they're all facing the same direction. Just gives your roof rack a nice clean look. Alright, so up front here, we've got these special mounting brackets, so I'm going to be installing those right now. First thing we're going to do is place some silicone down, make sure everything's waterproof. Just going to place a nice circle right over the plus nut here. And after you've got that down, go ahead and grab your spacer, place that on there. All right, so once you've got your spacer down, go ahead and take your mounting bracket, set it on top, place your bolt in, and we're just going to start off by hand tightening it. And we'll come back and fully tighten it later on in the process. All right, now I'm just going to go ahead and repeat the process on the other side of the vehicle. All right, so for this crossbar, we're going to do things a little bit differently. It's going to connect to those mounting brackets that I just showed you. So we've got our carriage bolts here. They're going to slide into the bottom side of the crossbar. So you see we have our drop points on top. So we're going to be sliding these into the bottom. And to start with, we're going to slide 4 of them in. That's going to be used here with our stiffener brace. And we're just going to slide this in like a good 6 inches or so. Then we're going to repeat the process over here as well. Just try and keep an even spacing on both sides between the 2 of them. All right, after you've got these set down on the carriage bolts here, just going to take our flat washer and place one of those on top of all of these. And after the flat washers, we're going to take our lock nuts here. I'm just starting them off by hand, and we can go ahead and fully tighten them down later. All right, so now that we've got the crossbar sitting on our mounting brackets, we're gonna do the same process as with our stiffener braces. We're gonna take a flat washer, followed by our lock washer, and connect it to these 2 carriage bolts down here. All right, so we're gonna have 2 holes in the roof that aren't gonna be used up by plus nuts, and to cover those, we've got this foil tape from 3M that we'll be sending along. So we've got one right here and right here. And again, you can go ahead and look in the written instructions to see exactly where you need to drill and where to install the plus nuts. You can also tell by just simply holding the side rail up and comparing the holes on your roof. So the next thing we're gonna do is go ahead and place the rest of our aluminum spacers down over the plus nuts. We're just gonna place a nice glob of silicone over those, make sure we get a nice watertight seal, and go ahead and start dropping those on both sides of the vehicle. All right, next thing I'm gonna do is grab one of the side rails. So I'm gonna go ahead and lift it up on the roof and start dropping our mounting bolts in. So we just got our bolt, followed by our flat washer on top here. So we're just gonna set those up there, start hand tightening them, and then go ahead and do it on the other side as well. So next thing we're gonna do is go ahead and start tightening our crossbars in. To that, you just got your torque screw here, followed by a split lock washer, and a flat washer. And again, to begin with, I'm just gonna start all these off by hand. Go ahead and tighten everything off for our very last step. All right, so what we just did was we placed this crossbar on top of our stiffener braces here. Same as what was shown before, we just drop our 4 carriage bolts in the holes. So we've got those dropped in now, and again, I'm just gonna come in underneath with our flat washer and lock washer and go ahead and tighten everything up. Okay. One of the last things we're going to do here is put together our wind deflector. So this customer's got the 40-inch cutout wind deflector here, so you can see it's pretty narrow. So that's just so you can go ahead and mount a light bar up on our wind deflector. But what we're going to do here is slide our T-nuts here into our channel. So I've already slid most of them in. And what you're going to do with those is you're just trying to get them to line up even with the holes in our wind deflector here. Let's give these a little adjustment. As you can see, I've got them mostly in line here. So once you have that done, you can go ahead and set your wind deflector on top of the crossbar. Then we've got our little Phillips head screws here, And once again, it's followed by a split lock washer and a flat washer. So just go ahead and start tightening those down. Once again, just starting by hand. That gives us the adjustment to slide things around as needed before we fully tighten everything down. Straight up copy and paste. But yeah, that was a fun show. All right, so now that we've got our wind deflector tightened down, last thing I'm gonna do is add our noise reducing trim to the bottom edge here. Just a nice little add-on. Make sure your roof rack's nice and quiet. It gives it a real clean look. One thing I like to do before I stick it on is just take a Phillips head screwdriver like this and sort of run it down the seam. It just helps open it up so it's easier to pop on the edge there. All right, so now that we've got the wind deflector on, last thing we're gonna do is go back and tighten everything down. Just make sure you double check every connection for your first drive and you'll be good to go. All right, so thanks for watching, guys. This was our install of the 2013 Subaru Outback. If you got any more questions, you can find us online at prince2designstudio.com. Check us out on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Feel free to reach out and ask if you got any more questions.